Welcome! Today, we're diving into one of the biggest transformations happening in industry right now, how artificial intelligence is completely rewiring the world of chemical engineering, from the day-to-day on the factory floor all the way up to our global sustainability goals.
So let's just jump right in with a pretty big question. What if your chemical plant, with all its thousands of moving parts, all its variables, could actually predict the future? I mean, what if it could tell you exactly when a critical pump is about to fail, or how to boost your product yield by 10%, like right now? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. That's the power of AI.
And that really brings us to our first major point. The AI revolution isn't on its way, it's already here. It's gone from being this kind of nice-to-have shiny object to an absolutely essential must-have skill. And why is that? Well, because it's fundamentally changing what it means to be a chemical engineer, giving a massive edge to companies to get on board, and opening up incredible new doors for engineers who are ready for it.
And here's the thing, this represents a huge shift in thinking. We are way past the point where AI is just some helpful little assistant running in the background. As one expert from our source material put it, AI is becoming a core, an absolutely indispensable part of the chemical engineering job itself.
Okay, so we've established that AI is a total game changer for the profession. But what does that actually look like on the ground? Let's zoom right into the factory floor and demystify how AI is making a real-world difference right this second.
So, in a nutshell, just think of AI as this super smart assistant that can chew through mountains of data in the blink of an eye. Take a reactor, for instance. It can look at thousands of data points, temperature, pressure, feed rates, all at once, and spot a tiny correlation that predicts a drop in efficiency an hour before it even happens. It sees these invisible patterns that a human never could, and it uses them to tell you what's coming next.
So, with this incredible power, how do we put it to work? Well, it really boils down to three main areas where AI is transforming chemical engineering today. We're going to walk through each one, and we'll start with how AI can fine-tune your processes to get the most out of every single drop.
First up is process optimization. And really, this is all about getting more from less. AI uses something called predictive analytics, which is just a fancy way of saying it learns from the past to predict the future. So it'll analyze all the historical data from, say, a distillation column to figure out how tiny little adjustments will impact the final product. Then it can suggest real-time changes to maximize your yield, letting you produce more with way less waste and less energy.
Now, making your process more efficient is fantastic, but keeping it running smoothly is a whole other ballgame. So next up, let's talk about maintenance. Instead of just waiting for something to break, AI can actually predict it. It uses what's called anomaly detection, which is basically its way of spotting when something is just a little bit off. By analyzing super subtle changes in vibration data from a pump, for example, it can tell you that a bearing is about to fail, so you can schedule maintenance before it becomes a massive, costly headache.
And finally, let's zoom out from the plant itself. You can think of AI as your own personal crystal ball for the supply chain. It connects what's happening inside the plant to the wider world by analyzing market trends to predict demand. This means you can get your raw material orders just right, and you can avoid making too much or too little. It's like having a direct line to what your customers are going to need tomorrow.
So, we've seen how AI can completely transform individual plants, making them smarter, faster, and way more efficient. But the impact here, it doesn't just stop at the factory gate. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture and see how this is helping us tackle some of the biggest challenges on the entire planet.
And this might be the most important takeaway of all. AI is not about replacing engineers. Not at all. It's about empowering them. It's about giving them superpowers, the tools they need to handle these incredibly complex systems, make smarter decisions, and go after huge goals. Like using AI to discover new, super efficient catalysts that can slash the carbon footprint of chemical production.
Our source material put it perfectly. AI is not just a tool, it's the key to solving some of the biggest challenges humanity faces today. And that's absolutely right, because AI is speeding up our ability to develop more sustainable processes, create new materials with less environmental impact, and ultimately help us reach those critical net zero emission goals. And you can really see how this whole thing scales up. It starts small, right? In research labs, accelerating discovery. Then it blows up to the massive industrial scale, optimizing entire refineries. And finally, it reaches the highest level, where these same principles help us tackle global initiatives like our net zero goals. This is a technology that truly makes a difference at every single level.
Okay, so we've seen the revolution that's happening across the industry, but let's bring it back down to earth. What does this all mean for you? For our final section, let's talk about how you can actually get started and become an AI-powered engineer.
So where do you begin? Our source material lays out a pretty clear roadmap. First, get comfortable with a programming language like Python. It's the engine behind so much of this. Then, start exploring machine learning libraries like TensorFlow. These are the tools for building AI models. And crucially, you have to get your head around digital twins. A digital twin is an exact virtual copy of a real-world process. It's like a sandbox where you can run simulations and test changes safely and without any cost to find the absolute best way to run things in the real world.
The bottom line is this: the future of chemical engineering is here, and it is absolutely powered by AI. By embracing these tools, you're not just making a smart move for your career. You're actively helping to build a smarter, safer, and much more sustainable future for all of us.
So, we've laid it all out. We've seen how AI is already changing everything. The only real question left is, what will you do with it? How are you going to use AI to push the boundaries and create that better future? The answer? Well, that's up to you.